Good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning? Give me just a second while I hit live in all the places and get the show on the road, right? All right. So one more thing. Let me pull this up on my phone. There we are. Pull this up on my phone. There we go. All right, we are all set. Now, I want to share, what usually happens for me creating the affirmation in the journal prompt. If you've been around for a while, it's like something I'm doing in the morning creates this idea that brings about this affirmation and journal prompt, whatever you say. Sometimes it's something that I'm listening to, whether it's a book or a YouTube or anything, right? Sometimes it's a conversation that I have with somebody. So this morning, the affirmation came from me going through my closet. So I will ask you before I even share what the affirmation and journal prompt are. Have you ever been standing in your closet and you pull out, like for me this morning, so I pulled out a shirt that I normally love, right? So have you ever done this? You look through your closet and you remember, oh, I always loved this top. Let me wear that. And you put it on and it doesn't feel so good. And you go look in the mirror and that doesn't look like what I remember it looking like. And you just wore it not too long ago, right? And so it got me to thinking a lot about how, the caterpillar comes out of the cocoon and it's a butterfly, right? And so there are times in our lives that we are changing as we're doing all of these processes. We're changing inside, right? And as we change inside, our outer appearance changes as well, right? Have you noticed that? So the interesting thing is, I feel that because I've really been doing a lot of internal work helping you guys. And then, like, I've got a couple of programs that are out and I'm helping people with those. And in turn, I'm doing a lot of internal work and I'm changing. So I'm stepping out of my cocoon into my butterfly, right? And so I feel like there are clothes in my closet now that are attached to who I used to be and are not a representative like that. I'm not a representative of who I am now. So I really feel like it's time for me to go shopping, but I kind of want to wait just a little bit as I continue to expand a little bit. And so that I make sure that I'm getting clothing that fits who I am. Right? I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever. It made perfect sense to me. And that's where the affirmation and the journal prompt came from this morning, is me with this revelation. Hello on Instagram. We have took days without having food. All right. So I will, the thing that is really cool is that I have these little nuggets of things that align with me, I feel like I want to share. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning. Great to have you here. So I actually took the top out. I don't know if it's a shirt or a top because it's not really okay. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I put it on and it's like, I don't like the way that fabric feels. And I've had this for a long time and I've always loved it, right? And then I look in the mirror and I think, that doesn't really look like me anymore. Right? So we're shedding our cocoon, we're shedding our clothes, our skin, so to speak, as we're morphing into these people that we want to be, who we choose to be, right? And so it's time to look at all of that, right? As we're changing who we are, because we are beginning to become the person that we've always wanted to be. And for whoever, it doesn't matter what your beliefs are, but there are people that say, we have timelines where we're exactly who we choose to be already. And so maybe we're kind of slipping into that. And suddenly we feel the experience of a different us. And now that top that you put on or that I put on no longer fits, no longer feels right. I mean, it physically fits. It's the same size. I'm the same size. It is that it doesn't emotionally represent me anymore. So anyway, let me go ahead and grab the affirmation and you'll see what I mean. Hold on. All right, so let me do this again. Hold on, because it didn't, all of it didn't go. I guess I've made this longer than I thought I did. Hold on, give me a second. Bear with me just a moment. Technical difficulties, not really technical difficulties. It was me that did it. All right, so let me go up here and take this away. And then we'll see if it all comes out. We'll try it. And if not, I'll just tell you what it is. Okay, let's try one more time. All right. Well, some of it still didn't go, but I felt like it all needed to be there. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. So our affirmation for today is I trust myself to recognize when something no longer fits. Remember, for me, it was clothes this morning, but it could be your mindset, a path that you're on, or a role that you're playing, a role that you have adopted in your life of who you feel that you are. And I have the courage to seek what truly aligns with me. I have the courage to seek what truly aligns with me. Letting go isn't failure. It's making space for something greater. So what do you think? So for me, I feel like I'm on this path that I am loving, right? I enjoy. And there are times that I have a task that doesn't feel comfortable because I haven't done it before. Does that mean I'm supposed to pop off the path because that doesn't feel comfortable? No. So I'm not saying that everything has to feel perfect, right? Because one of the things as an entrepreneur that serves you amazingly well is perseverance. It's not being depleted from setbacks. So letting go isn't failure, but no longer will you feel that by sticking with something that feels so aligned to your heart, that feels like what you want to wear, who you want to be, it's not here yet. Keep going, right? You can still make space for this amazing life as you're going through it. But we also want to trust ourselves to recognize when something no longer fits. Now, I will say that one of the things that I have been adjusting a hell of a lot in the past couple of years is my mindset, because our mindset creates so much. Well, it creates everything in our environment, right? And so I started recognizing that the things that were showing up in my life were definitely not things that made me feel amazing. They weren't things that made me feel like life was joy. There weren't things that I felt like I was going to be prosperous enough to pay all my bills. There was a lot of stuff that was going on. And so one by one, I was working on those. And then every now and then I would have this space where I would work on more than one at a time, because our path and the role that we play along with our mindset is what is our space right now. So what we're feeling right now is not indicative of what we just thought. it's what we have been thinking and doing for a bit, right? It has momentum and it's coming to this place. And so we change now into something that we do fit with, right? The thing that we truly align with. I trust myself to recognize when something no longer fits, whether it's a mindset, a path, a role, your clothes. And I have the courage to seek what truly aligns with me. So that's a lot of that inner work that we've been doing a lot of lately. I've just been on this path for me, and it's had me gearing everything more toward that path as well for you guys. And it seems like it resonates with a lot of people. So I guess we're all on this same path together. We're learning, we're growing, we're becoming exactly who we want to be. Letting go isn't failure, it's making space for something greater. And so let's go back to my closet analogy, right? I put on that top, and it still fit me physically, but it didn't fit me emotionally and who I see myself as. So what do I do with that top? I put it in my storage. Well, I have a container in my closet that anything that doesn't fit anymore or doesn't align with me goes in there, and it's donated. So it's going in the donated thing. So now, as I notice more of these things that I want to donate, I'm going to replenish. So I got to really tap into who I am so that when I go shopping for new clothes, they fit who I feel I am. Does that even make sense? Let's see where we are here. And if you want to join into the conversation, just go ahead and pop in and say hello. All right, now let me go ahead and share the journal prompt. All right, so our journal prompt is, what in my life no longer feels like a true fit? Now, that could be your clothes, like I said. It could be your mindset. And so it's time to really look at where you are in your life and where you're feeling like you need to grow, where you want to grow, right? And just like I share all the time is that, if you go to the store and you buy a brand new sofa and they bring it to your house to deliver it, and they come in and they say, where do you want this? And just put it on top of the old one. It'll be fine. Would you do that? No, right? You would get rid of the old one and bring in the new. So a lot of what we're doing here is helping you to see what is there that no longer serves you and extract it from your life so that you can put in the new thoughts, the new way of being. And if you need help with how that works and how to make it happen faster, because you can do all of this on your own, it just takes time. But one of the things that I have found from a lot of people is that even though you know kind of how to do it, you don't. And so I had one of my clients that I talked to her about what she was wanting to change in her life. And she said, I think I can do this on my own. I said, okay, well, if you need me, let me know. And I kept in contact with her. 3 years later, she reached out and said, okay, I've been trying for 3 years and it's not working. Let me go ahead and get working with you. And we made leaps and bounds really quickly. She had a year-long program with me, and she was so excited with the changes in her life. Now, she had been trying on her own for 3 years, right? And we started having changes within a month, even quicker, really. But you could see the evidence in a month. But after a year, it was life-changing, right? So what I'm saying is, You can keep trying, you can keep doing the thing, and you may be one of the people that has all the fortitude within you to do all the processes. You may have the ability to do all of that and stick with it and get these life altering lessons internal, right? But normally, when you're doing it yourself, it takes a lot longer. And so, what I'm saying is, if you think you would like to make these changes and you need some help, please, please, please reach out. We can send me a DM. I'll put a link in the comments for my calendar. And let's just see if we can connect and find how you want to change things and how I can help. All right. So, just wanted to make sure that I didn't leave you hanging, that if you want some help, I am here. All right. So I'm back. I had to answer the phones here at work. Okay. I get you, Lynn. I get you. Good to have you back. I knew you must have been answering a phone or something because I asked a question and you didn't answer. It was like, okay, I know she's at work. And I want to remind you guys, for those that aren't aware, that tonight starts the Rewrite Your Money Story program. And it starts at 6, is it 6 p.m.? Yes, 6 p.m. this evening. And so I'm going to put the link in the comments. So if you want to get in last minute, I have this amazing digital product that anybody that signs up right before the actual start of the program tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, get this digital program, which is actually a walking meditation, which is activating your prosperity consciousness. And I will say it's for walking when you're doing things at work, or if you're home doing some chores, whatever it is. However, you can use it at night going to bed, even though it talks about walking and your feet being grounded, because I've been playing with it myself to see. And I'm telling you, I did it last night for as I was going to bed. Then I'm going to try it and see how it feels, right? And I had the best night's sleep and woke up feeling so ready, right? So it still does its thing, even though you're not walking and doing the things that it says to do. Because at one point I tell you, if you're walking, just kind of sway. I remind you about your breath and your feet on the ground and all of those things as you're walking, right? So it's perfect. The thing that I wanted to make sure I did was create something that you didn't have to have 30 minutes that you set aside where you didn't do anything, but that I wanted it to be where you could be busy doing your thing and still listen and get the results. So that you get that free for just popping in at the last minute. We have, what did I say? I can't remember if there's 4 or 5 spots open still, but definitely if you're interested, you will grab that today so that you can get in there tonight and get this amazing recording that you can use forever. It's really cool. Anyway, so that's for tonight. And so just keep that in mind. And then let me go back to the affirmation. I trust myself to recognize when something no longer fits. That could be your mindset, a path that you're on that doesn't feel like you. Maybe it's like, some people will start, for instance, I know this person that actually decided to become a CPA because that's what their parents did. And they did it and they made money, but never did they feel like this is my true path, right? And so they worked their whole life doing this because it made money, but it didn't give them any internal satisfaction, any feeling that they were making this huge difference in the world, right? So The thing is that if you're on a path that doesn't feel aligned with who you really feel like you are, I'm not saying to jump off the cliff and stop your job. No, no, no. I'm saying start looking at what your path is. Maybe you love to paint and draw and write and play music and create, but you're not doing it because you're so stressed about your job, or when you get finished with your job, you're just tired and you just want to mindlessly do nothing, right? So it's start looking at what feeds your soul and how can you incorporate that into the life that you have. If you work a 9 to 5 and you need to be playing with this stuff when you get home, beautiful. I work a full-time job and do all of this stuff. And this is the stuff that lights me up. So it's getting to this place where I am just so enjoying this part of my life that it makes my whole life feel even better. So maybe it's a role that you're playing. Maybe you're, let me think for a second. Maybe your role in life has been that you take care of everybody and not yourself. And this is prevalent in women more so than men, but I'm sure there are men that this ends up being part of them as well. But women are almost taught that you take care of everybody else. And everything depends on how they're doing, right? I know I was. It wasn't facetious teaching, it was modeling others' behavior, right? So maybe you've been modeling a behavior that you don't even really like. Take an assessment and see, what are you doing in your life that maybe is a role that you were taught growing up that doesn't serve you? And then have the courage to seek what truly aligns with you. Because that takes courage. Change takes courage. And that's why so many people stay stuck in their lives, because it takes tremendous courage to step out, to open up that cocoon and step out, because that's the unknown, right? And we want to be safe. Our subconscious mind wants to keep us safe. And safe is not stepping out into the unknown. It's staying in that stuck space. It's staying true to who you always thought you were, even though you knew deep in your heart that there was something more. So it does take courage. But man, oh man, when you get on the other side of that, amazing. And that's one of the things that I help with, is being able to embrace and step out of that space and not let it derail your life. So letting go isn't failure. It's making space for something greater. Just think, if all of these limiting beliefs that you have and all of these old beliefs of who you are, old visions of what you're capable of, if you could just blast past them, what the hell would show up? Just imagine a life where you go about your day knowing that everything is aligning just as it should in your life, and that you're expanding and you're growing and you're feeling a little bit of anxiety maybe, or excitement, because you're about to step into this new world. But oh my gosh, it's exciting there. So get excited. All right. So make sure you put that on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes, put it somewhere that you're going to be reminded today. And I really want you to tap into the letting go isn't failure. It's making space for something greater. And that's one of the things that I do with a lot of my my meditations, my affirmations and things, as when I'm doing it for myself. And some of the programs is I'll give them affirmation. I'll say this or something better, because I'm telling you, there is so much goodness and amazing things out there, but we block it most of the time by having to know exactly how things go and not willing to step out into the unknown. And like I said, I'm not saying quit your job and jump off the cliff. No, no, no. I'm saying play with your job, stay with that. See if you can find a way that that job becomes more fun. Something about it gets more fun. But when you're not at the job, really align with who you are and do things that light up your soul. So, now our journal prompt. And remember, get out your notebook, your journal, and write the affirmation, the journal prompt, and the date. And the journal prompt is, what in my life no longer feels like a true fit? What maybe feels unaligned with who you are now? And you're going to find as you grow and you become who you've always aspired to be, certain things about your life are not going to feel like a true fit anymore. Like my top that I put on this morning, not a true fit anymore. But that's okay, right? Because I can buy a new top. And what about other things that might not be a true fit anymore? Sometimes it can be some groups that you're in are no longer a good fit. I had a client who she had lost her husband, and she was going to a grief, I think it was at the church or something, a grief group. And she finally said, after a while, she said, I don't think I don't belong there anymore. She said, I'm now happy that the life that I had with my husband, I am grateful that I had it, but I'm not in this continuous grief place of loss. She said she was now feeling like life was there to be lived, and staying in that grief group was keeping her grieving. And so she recognized that it was time to go into a space of just figuring out who she was by herself, not as a wife, not attached to him, but who is she now? And so she shed that group, and she stayed friends with some of those people, right? But she no longer went to that group because it was not elating her and helping her to be who she wanted to be. It was keeping her stuck. Now, if you're in a grief group and it's working for you, amazing, right? But if it ever gets to a place where it feels like it's keeping you stuck, then it's time to move on. And there are other things in our life we do that with, right? Groups of people that we maybe have a friendship with. I had a friend once that I would go off with her, and one of her childhood friends would show up all the time, and she was such a Debbie Downer. Not to be talking about the Debbies, right? But she was so depressing. And I even asked my friend, I said, why do you hang out with her if she's so depressing? She said, well, we've known each other for so long that I just feel like we're supposed to continue to be friends. And you can continue to be friends with someone that no longer aligns with your path, or maybe it is someone who, like her, that was a childhood friend that she wanted to keep associating with. That's still good. You just don't have to do it every night, or every Friday night was when we were meeting. Every Friday night we would meet and have dinner and just socialize, a bunch of us, right? So it can change and be different depending on who you're becoming. And it doesn't have to be uncomfortable. It can be exciting. So as you maybe move away from a group or from a being around a certain person all the time, there's going to be somebody new that pops in, a new group, a new person that will just be exactly where you need in your life. That part of your story, this person elevates you to the next part of your story. I hope that makes sense. So what in your life no longer feels like a true fit? Really, really tap into what that is. And then how can I confidently release it and step toward what aligns with who I am becoming or who I am now? Not just becoming, who I am now. Right? So trust the shift, embrace the change, and stand boldly in your truth of who you are. It's time. So like I said, my top that I put on this morning that no longer aligns with me in the donation bin, because it used to align with me, so somebody else will love that top instead of just letting it hang in there, because now I can replace it with something that does fit who I am. I don't know what that shirt looks like or what that top looks like right now, so when I go shopping, I'll figure it out. But there are so many things that we hold on to that it's time to recognize that it's no longer a true fit. Trust the shift. Embrace the change, even if it feels a little uncomfortable in the moment. Feeling a little bit uncomfortable means you're growing, and that's a good thing, right? And then stand boldly in the truth of who you really are. All right. So, as I say all the time, you've written all this down. You take 10 to 15 minutes to be in total silence and just really tap into the inner guidance, the inner knowing, your God voice. Connect within. And then when the timer goes off, write this out. Just brain dump whatever shows up. And really spend some time evaluating it, because we want to get the old sofa out so we can put the new one in, right? We want to take off the old top, the old clothes that don't fit, get rid of them and get something new. It's the same with our mindset, the people we hang around with. And like I said, you don't have to just suddenly say, I'm sorry, you don't fit anymore. You don't align with me anymore. I'm out of here. No. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. But it means you can distance yourself from people who don't align with who you are now. And the interesting thing is, if they're real true friends, they're going to elevate and come with you. They're not going to try to pull you back. They're going to lift up and elevate with you. That's the test of a true friend. People that don't align with you, that are not true friends, they'll try to pull you back to their way of thinking, to their way of acting. And they'll ask you to agree with all kinds of things. How many times have you talked to somebody and they'll say something you think, ooh, that's not good. And they'll say, isn't that right? And it's time to say, that's not true for me, and let it go, right? Take control, take your inner being and just love on it. All right, so have an amazing day. Really tapping in to your alignment and releasing the old and stepping into the new. And I'm telling you, there's gold in them there hills, and there's much happiness and joy on the path if you choose it. All right. So I will see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, and you have an aligned day discovering even more of who you are. Love you guys.